All right. Welcome to our first ever training for Women's Coaching Association. I am super excited. And we have our training today is Tonya Hofmann, and she's going to be talking about transforming stranger into a VIP. Isn't that what we all want to do in our business? So I am super excited to introduce our trainer today, Tonya Hofmann. Tonya, take it away.
Yay! Thank you, Christy. I'm so excited first to be a part of the association. So thank you for having me today. Hello, everybody. We are going to cover a lot of information because a lot of times people really struggle with this concept of finding new clients, and then how do you really find the ones that you want as your VIP clients, right? So there's always like different levels of participation and different levels of clients that you're going to have. So we're going to talk about kind of the whole transformation today and kind of get in so that you could go out tomorrow and start implementing all of this. All right. So first of all, when you start looking at ideal clients, target market, VIP clients, you start really kind of diving into who is that person. Now, a lot of times people talk about target market. So when I usually ask people, well, who's your target market? I get the exact same qualification of who someone's target market is from every single person I talk to. I'm looking for 35 to 65-year-old women who are wanting to change and transform and do amazing things in their life. And I'm like, ugh, right? So hopefully you're not one of them, but if you are, it's okay. We all start off that way because we've been told that it's a certain type of person versus who are they? Who is the core value proposition of the person that you want to be around you? So first of all, I want you to think about what kind of person do you want? Meaning, what is their values? Because if you don't align values, you're now talking to people that they may be a nightmare as a client. Do you want a nightmare client? No, of course not. So we want to really hone that in so that you have massive results and happy clients because you're talking to the right people. So first of all, you have to look at what is your values, because you can't expect other people to have the value if you don't do them yourself, okay? Because they'll call you out on it. So for example, I own the Public Speakers Association. So back in 2007, way before the Public Speakers Association, I started a company and I started a networking organization across the state of Texas. And suddenly I was surrounded by the wrong people. Whiners, complainers, some mean people, right? That starts talking bad about you. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Why don't you like me? I mean, what's wrong with me, right? We always think it's about us. Instead of looking at what was I doing to attract the wrong people. So I found a really easy technique that eliminated those people and brought in the right people. So I realized, well, I didn't want grumpy, negative, mean people around me. So I simply created the rule in my organization and my company that you had to be nice. No mean, grumpy, negative people allowed. And I do kick people out because of it. It's a real rule. So if people don't change, or sometimes it's just, personality conflicts, but that's why I talk to every single client that comes my way. Every person, I decide when I get them on the phone, do I even want to talk to them about what I do? If I don't immediately feel warm and cozy, then I don't want them in the organization. I don't want them in my business. So I want you to think of right now, what is some, things, it's usually kind of pet peeves, right, that you have that when someone breaks it, you're just like, ah, I cannot believe it. Another rule for my organization is you have to be imperfect. You know, I created that rule because I have a speech impediment. It's kind of like dyslexia. So grammar, even though I have an English degree, I know the irony, and having a speech impediment, and I'm an international speaker, I know the irony. But when you start looking at it, I started looking at, I make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And if people aren't okay with me making mistakes, they're probably not going to do well around me. So it's easier for me to eliminate them from the get-go than trying to accept everybody in. So I made the rule, you have to be nice and you can't be perfect. So that way I'm attracting the people that is right for me. Now I have also a third rule, and this one I don't really publicize. I just use it as my rule of thumb, that I won't allow people in that are elitist. It's just kind of one of those things that really irks me when people think they're better than other people. So that's just kind of a core value of mine. And so it's kind of a hidden rule, just let y'all know. So you have your rules that you put out to the public, and then there's some that you're like, yeah, if they cross this line, they're out of here. And you really got to be hard and fast with that, because one of the things that people do when they first start a business is they say yes to everyone, because I get it. You've got diapers to buy, you've got food, you got to pay for the electricity, you got to pay for the mortgage, right? You've got a lot of things that you've got to pay for to keep your business running. But unfortunately, what happens is you get that one negative client that you said yes to because you needed to pay for it, and then it controls your life and you make you miserable. There's also something about when you push against that negativity, that whatever the rules are, right, you push against it, it kind of opens it up to positive things happening. So I find the more I push back on the negativity, the more it allows all the wonderful things to seep in. So think through and write down a couple rules. And they really are kind of your pet peeves, things that when someone crosses that, right? So say punctuality. Now I'm incredibly punctual, but I don't really expect other people to. So if you're going to have punctuality, you better be on time, right? Same thing for me. If I can't go and start raving about something on social media and start saying something ugly because I have the you got to be nice rule. So you do have to follow your own rules, right? I couldn't start gossiping about a whole bunch of people because that wouldn't be very nice, right? So you do have to kind of live what you kind of create for your business. But it will help you create the right community. People are always asking me, how did you create such an amazing community of people? And it's just about filtering. Now, filtering does a lot of different things. Filtering filters in and out, okay? So there's two buttons that I want you to get really comfortable using, okay? They're my favoriteest buttons, and that is the block and the delete button. Yes, use them generously. That's on social media, right? So suddenly maybe you're following someone and maybe you like them, but suddenly they're like going off and they're like totally opposite from your core values. Block them, delete them, unfriend them. Same thing with your email list. So people opt in, people are going to opt out. Never look at who opts out. Okay? Because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who they are and why they opted out. A lot of times it's just that they get too many emails and, you know, you don't know what the circumstances is. But you can get really just bogged down in that negativity if you go that direction. So this really is about creating the right community around you. Now, this is another thing that when you're looking for that very, very important person, right, for your clients, your VIP clients, one of the really major things that's going to make a difference for you is who you hang around. Who you hang around is incredibly important. So if you're always hanging around the wrong people, they're going to connect you to the wrong people. So when you start to meet somebody, I ask them what their core values are. So tell me about you. And you can hear by just how they approach things, are they a filter for your business? Are they in or are they out? Also, when you talk to somebody, when I talk to people, I give them my rules. Like, oh yeah, I love, kind of helping filter people out because I've got my 2 rules. And I tell them. Their reaction automatically tells me if I just need to hang up and say, thanks, I appreciate it, or continue the conversation. So as you're developing out these rules, then you're also developing the connection rules. So if I meet, say if I just met Christy for the first time, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing, then I need to find out who else is Christy really connected to. Who is she doing business with? Especially if you're wanting to get like in the speakers world or these smaller worlds, like coaching, it's a small world. So if you start getting into the wrong camp, I did that for 1 year. My house was completely destroyed by a water pipe bust. Everything was destroyed. My husband went blind 2 months before the water pipe bust. And so literally everything was like, and I know y'all know what I mean, because there's sometimes you're like, what is going on with my life, right? You're like, what? It was a lot, and it was a lot for me to take on. And what happened is I started connecting to people that were also in that negative space. So by the time my conference for the Public Speakers Association came around, I looked around and some of my close friends looked around. They're like, what is wrong with your group? What is wrong with your peeps? They're just not you. And I'm like, I don't know. And I had to really stop and do some hard searching on the inside. And I realized it was me. You can't blame other people for the community you make. You're the one who makes your own community. If you don't like it, change it. So that's what I did. I said goodbye to the people that I had been connecting to, knowing that they were the wrong people. After I started really looking at it and listening to them, I realized, oh my gosh, these people have some issues and are incredibly negative. And so then I looked at, well, then after that point, how can I start connecting to the right people? So I picked up the phone and started connecting to some of my amazing friends and got connected to their communities. So look at not just, sometimes you really connect with somebody. There was a gentleman the other day. We really connected, but something, that little thing inside, listen to your intuition. Always listen to your intuition. If you're going, something's wrong, listen, because there is something wrong. All right. Every time I didn't listen, I'm like, why didn't I listen? Right. So just take your own advice and listen to yourself. So I was talking to this guy, and he seemed really nice, but there was just this something. Well, long story short, he ended up being connected to a whole group of people that I cannot stand. People that take advantage of people, people that are users, definitely not my peeps. So I just simply disconnected from him and stopped doing things with him. There was a lady one time, I went and spoke at her conference, and she seemed really great on the line. And then I went into the event, and I didn't like her on stage. I didn't like what she was saying. I didn't like how she was connecting and reacting to people. It was so negative. So I completely unfriended her, completely took myself out of her realm, because I did not want that connection factor. Because remember that when you're connecting to people, people are also looking at you and who you're connected to. So they're also making decisions on if you're someone that they should play with. So if they see that you're connected with a group that they don't like, they're probably not going to be part of your community, especially when you get into the influence factor. When you get to the influencers that are the movers and shakers, they definitely, because it can change their whole business, right? My life changed at that point. So you really have to decide what kind of community you want to develop. If you are connecting to the right people, boom, done, right? They've got your peeps. They've got your next VIP client. So it's never really about what you know. It's about who you know. We've heard it a million times, but most people do not play the influenced game. They don't leverage. And women, I'm telling you, ladies, we are horrible at it. I could do everything myself. I don't need any help. Oh, I don't want to bother her. Oh my gosh, I don't want to bother her, right? I mean, I did it. And sometimes I still do it, but I'm so much better now. So now I actually reach out. Hey, could you help, right? You've got to find mentors. You've got to find your own coaches. I've got my own coaches. By the way, side note, here's a bonus for you. Do not hire someone that doesn't align. Don't hire someone that doesn't even have your own rules in mind, right? Make sure the person that you're hiring to coach you is actually doing what you want to do. Yes. And they're successful at it. I have hired people that had great pitches. You're like, oh, I totally get that. And they just sound like they're so logical. And then the next month, my business is gone. I've done that 2 times when I'm like, dang it, I hired the wrong person. They really didn't know what they were talking about. They sounded like they did. Okay, so that's a whole side note. So when you start really kind of developing out the people that you need to connect to, you've got to play the influence game. If you're wanting VIP clients and you want to talk about the top tier people that are going to pay you the most money, you've got to play the influence game. There's a lady that I love rooming with people when I go to conferences. You know, as an entrepreneur, we don't really get to connect with people very often. So it's fun when I get to, you know, be in pajamas with people. It's just so different. Anyways, so I was with this lady and she was a little bit of, you know, struggling a little bit about getting her level up, right? So she had a lot of people in the $97 and under range, but she was really struggling with the $500 and up range. So we were sitting there and it was, a lot of it was very obvious. Now it's hard to see ourselves. So again, that's why you have to ask somebody, what do you think, right? Which is very uncomfortable sometimes. I love it now, but you have to get to that point. So we were sitting there and we were just looking at what we were going to wear the next day. So I was pulling out my stuff out of my suitcase. She was pulling her stuff out of her suitcase. Now this was a business conference. And she brought nothing to sell. She brought no forms to sell. She wasn't even in the mindset to sell. She was there to participate, to be a follower. You've got to stand out and be a leader. Beyond anything, you have to show up as the influencer in the group. Why would they hire you at a high ticket dollar price if you're not the person who everyone is looking to? And I know how incredibly hard it is. I come from a horrific background. So much so that I was an incredible introvert. And I know people always like, yeah, whatever. So I'm going to prove it. So I love this picture. I found it and I was like so glad that I kept it. So it was 2005 at the Leander Chamber of Commerce. This was me. Yes, I was an introvert. And ladies, this is what I wore to the holiday gala. See how sparkly I am? That's right. Tonya wanted to be in the corner and I did not want people coming up to me. Okay. So you have to get over that. Oh my gosh, people are going to be looking at me and judging me. Okay. You have to, people call it a thick skin. It's really not that. It's really owning yourself. I remember the moment that I went from, I'm trying to be this person that was going to make money and this person that was going to be an influencer and a leader, to Tonya. And I don't really care now what people think. And sometimes, it's still kind of shocking. You're like, what? You don't like me? What is there not to like? But then I realized they're filtering themselves out, which is awesome, right? We just talked about filtering. It also works the other way. People can filter themselves away. When I speak and there's a crowd in front of me, 25% of the people won't like me, won't care for anything that I say, may be just completely indifferent, may not need that kind of information. Whatever it is, I'm okay with that, because there's 25% that loves me, right? They can't wait to hear more. So why focus on the bottom? That's what I used to do, right? Little introverted Tonya wanted everyone to love her. Chrissy's still here. So you've got to let it go and shake it off, because what you realize is that 25% that doesn't like you, guess what? You don't like them either. So get over it. Let it go, right? Yay! So to find the right people who are going to buy your packages, you've got to do that filter, right? And you've got to be able to push away the people that are not right for you and draw the right people to you, no matter what your personality is. I've met people, a lot of my clients, that people are like, someone paid them a lot of money. Yes, their target market, their personality type. I have a guy who's my client. He has no personality. He does not have any voice changes. His eyes never blink. He has no personality. But who does he connect with? A whole bunch of other people who have no personalities, right? He totally rocks the sci-fi world. So it's just amazing that he found his niche. You just got to find your niche, right? I love showing people what their niche is, because a lot of times it's just reality of who they are. Who are you? What is your values? Filter in, filter out. So back to looking at this person I was rooming with. So we were going to go to this conference. She was not prepared to sell. You should be prepared at every given day of the week, every moment. I have sold sponsorship packages on an airplane. I have talked to people at my kids' school and sold them on a package, right? At a PTA meeting or something. You just never know when that person meets you that you can change their life at that moment. Isn't that what you're doing it for? Aren't you there to change somebody's life? Mm-hmm. Then own that. So here we are, we're sitting in this hotel room. She has no form to fill out. She wasn't even prepared for mindset of what she was going to be talking to people about at the event. Okay. So we practiced real quick her elevator pitch. Now, I'm also out there talking to people. She's my roomie. I said, tell me what you want me to tell people about you. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, so I can sell for you. Mind-blowing for her. So it is really perfect to go to an event with a sidekick. Especially if you're an introvert. This is what I did when I was an introvert, is I would find an incredible extrovert, because extroverts love dragging an introvert around. And then they're like, oh, you got to know Tonya. And I'm like, yay, she's bringing people to me. I didn't have to walk up to anybody. Now I don't have a problem with it, right? Now I could do it for other people. So we work all weekend long telling people about her, telling people about me, right? We were cross-promoting each other. So it's a brilliant way, because it's always easier to talk about someone else than yourself. Then we talked a little bit about how she was going to show up. So the first day of the event, she was going to wear kind of just very normal blue jeans and a t-shirt and just kind of be comfy and some tennis shoes. And I'm like, really? You're about to play the influence game with t-shirts on. You're a coach. You want to elevate yourself. So I showed her what I was going to wear. Business casual. Now, what I always do is I find a lot of jackets or vests, you know, like the little flowy vests. I like those. Covers up a lot. And so, you know, you wear those that it elevates your look. Basic, I always wear just basic black, but you could use whatever kind of basic, doesn't matter what's underneath it, because people will see the jacket or the vest, right? So you have kind of a statement piece. The people are like, "Ooh, I like that," right? It's just always a statement piece. Maybe some jewelry, you know, that's kind of blingy. It's whatever that makes people come over to you and go, "I love that." It also elevates up where you are, because all the other people are going to usually be dressed a little bit down. You always want to be dressed up, just not a huge amount, just a little bit above everybody else in the crowd, because you're the most important person in there. And no one is going to drop $10,000 on you if you don't look like you're a $10,000 coach. It's just basics. Now, she was going to bring her purse, and she had this big kind of fluffy poppy purse. And I was like, "Where did you get that?" Because it was really ugly. And she's like, "Oh, just Walmart." And I'm like, "Yeah, no." So I showed her my Michael Kors purse, and she's like, "Oh my God, that is so," it was very easy, clean, white and black, right? Simple lines, not too blingy and stuff. And I said, "Well, it cost me $300. And she was like, "I've never spent $300 on a purse." I'm like, "Well, you need to go buy you one." Because women look at shoes and purses, don't we, ladies? Yeah.
Yes, we do.
That tells people where you are and how well you're doing. So if you walk in with a Walmart purse, you're not a $10,000 coach. My purse makes me money. It's also a great write-off. Yes, you can write off stuff like that. So talk to your tax, you know, professional, you know. So you look the part is what I'm saying. You look confident. You walk in and you own that room. Everybody kind of looks at you and you're like, "Hey," now you're nice. You're not all uppity, like, "Oh, I'm here. Let's start the party," you know. No, you're there and you're nice, and you shake everybody's hand. You hug people if you're a hugger. You connect. You're wanting to connect with as many people as possible. Get their business card. It doesn't matter if they ask you for yours. Okay? Because you want to follow up with them afterwards. And then at a conference, especially, even a networking group or whatever, the most important part of the event is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Do not eat those alone. Do not eat those with your favoriteest girlfriend that you came to the event with. Have those moments for that person that you really connected with, that said something to, "Yeah, I really would love to know more about that." Whatever your specialty is, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I really need that." That's the person you're like, "Hey, well, let's have lunch." "Oh, are you doing anything for dinner?" That is when you will sell there at the event. Now, a lot of times I'll go to an event and, you know, I'm sometimes bored. Have y'all ever been bored? You're like, "Why did I come to this event?" So stick around, you know, out in the hall. And as people go to the bathroom, say hi to them. I was at a big event and I sold $10,000 just standing in the hallway. Because I was just connecting people, you know, they were coming to the bathroom. I was like, "Oh, hey, what do you do?" So this is the next point, okay? So we're playing the "I'm someone amazing" game, right? But the only way you're amazing is by allowing the people you're talking to be more amazing. Say that again. The person you're about to talk to, you want to make them feel like a princess. That they're so smart, they're so beautiful, They're so amazing. Now, don't say it to people if you don't really believe it, because it comes off as fake. I truly see the brilliance in everybody. People blow me away. So when I talk to people, I want them to feel that, right? I want them to feel how amazing that I truly see them. Do you make people feel that way? That's going to elevate your influence factor. That's going to elevate the type of person you're talking to. I never go towards somebody expecting a sell. I never have a conversation on the phone with someone expecting a sell, because you will come off as expecting a sell. The strategy session, everyone knows it's code for I'm about to sell you something. So how do you talk to people over the phone? How are you transforming them into a VIP client? I know one of the most important things for people is to create monthly income. We got bills to pay. But for most entrepreneurs, you look at everything as a one-off sell. Now, I probably don't have a lot of time to get into that, but let's cover it a little bit, because I think it's so important for everyone, especially for coaches. So you meet, Susie, and Susie is amazing, and she's really connecting well with you. She's got your, your rules. She's checked off on both of your rules, and so everything looks good. Okay, you have a decision now. What is your proposal for Susie? What are you going to be selling her? Not everybody is ready for a VIP client experience. Most people are ready for I want to try you out experience. So I always think about it as a skyscraper, okay? So every skyscraper has a courtyard. It's a lovely courtyard. You've built such amazing, some people have the most amazing courtyards. It's got swings and picnic benches and grills. People will stay there forever. That's your social media area. That's your networking at the local BNI, at the local chamber, at the local women's group, okay? That's your I'm meeting people area. And a lot of people will stay there forever. They will never walk in to your skyscraper, which is your business. And so most coaches aren't coaches very long because they can't figure out how to get people from the beautiful courtyard you've made into the building. Because too much people have created, they've got their blog talk, they've got their blog that they actually write, maybe some magazine articles, maybe they're doing some Facebook Lives, maybe they're just giving great content on social media, they're putting things up on their website all the time, right? Lots of information, no sales. You've got to attract them into your building. So that first level is let me try it out. So it's your bar, okay? It's wow, this is fun in here. I'm really liking the music, and I can sit down at the bar and I can order a drink. They slide over. Oh, it's my favorite drink. It's got a little umbrella in it, right? What do you have to offer people for the little umbrella that they will buy? A very short, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to sit here and drink the drink. Now, what a lot of people do is they make one glass. The person finishes the glass. What happens? They walk back out to the courtyard. They're done. That was a great drink. So you've got to look at how are you going to keep that person sitting at the bar, because you want them bellied up for as long as possible. As long as they're there, they're going to continue to get another glass and another glass and another glass and another glass, because you're brilliant and because they're part of your community. They're your perfect client. And then one day they're going to go, huh, there's an elevator. I'm kind of hungry. I'm ready to go up to have dinner. So that's your next level. They see you propose something. It's the next level. They're ready now. They get in the elevator, they go up, and now they're spending $100. Yay! Now, what happens to a lot of people is at that moment, they go back down the elevator and go back out. So you're going to have a lot of rotating customers, which is fine, but you do want to keep them into your community because you never know when they're going to be hungry for another dinner or maybe a bigger package. But you want to keep them in your, in your business for as long as possible. Now that person at dinner may be going, this is awesome, but I'm really ready for some new experience because this is exactly what I've been looking for. So most people don't have the next level, or they do. They have another level, they go up, they enjoy that one, but that person's ready for that VIP experience. So they get into the elevator, they go to the penthouse, and they open up. They're so excited. They're ready for this entire experience with you, and they open up the doors, and there's nothing in there. Oh, you forgot to make a VIP experience. Oh my gosh. So this is also the problem, is no one can actually buy a VIP package from you unless you have one. Now, there's a lot of coaches out there that promote, you have to have a $10,000 program. It is a great number. But the reality is that most people would never be able to sell a $10,000 package because they don't believe in their soul that they're worth $10,000 yet. You have to gradually get yourself to that level. I know when I first started coaching, I coached for a hamburger, right? We coached for just dinner that night. You're like, yay, they bought me dinner. That was so great. And then you're like, oh, I could charge for this? And so I charged $50. Oh, they paid me $50. And then the next person, I'm going to ask them for 100. Oh my God, they paid 100, right? So think of the number that is like crazy, like $1,500. Like to you, that's like a lot of money, and you can kind of see people spending that with you, whatever that number is. Okay, so write that number down. And then I want you to add $500 or $1,000 to it. I want it just to be a little bit over your comfort zone. Because you can always come down on your price, but you can't go up. So when you talk to people, what you're going to do is you're going to say, oh, yes, I would love to have you as my VIP client. This is everything that I give you for this level. And it's $2,500. Now in your head, you're going, oh my God, it's $2,500. I can only see me base charging $1,500. You're like freaking out a little bit. It's okay. Because then that person's going to go, oh yeah, that's awesome. Well, you just elevated your own self. Or if they're like, oh, I was expecting it to be like $1,500. But, well, for you, I'll do it for $1,500. So now you still got the price you wanted. Okay. So whatever that price is, just always mark it up just a little bit, because you can always come down. You just can't go up. And you just put it a little bit outside of your comfort zone. So if you do an hourly, you just do it a little bit more than what you thought you're comfortable with. Because again, you can always adjust it. Then at some point, your time is going to be really restrained, and you have to make that decision that you're now worth $10,000 just because you don't have enough time, for anything else. And usually it's that kind of perspective. It's not just that you're worth $10,000, but people have got to see the real value after they got the coaching from you. They see it in their mind, what you're about to do for them. But a lot of coaches have gotten themselves in trouble because they'll fly them in. The person has to spend their own time and money and everything to fly in for a $10,000 or $100,000 coaching session. They spend a day with them and it doesn't change their life at all. So make sure that what you're going to give them has real value, and that what they're buying, they're a perfect client for. If you're selling them something that they already have, they will not see the value afterwards. Okay? So really ask people a lot of questions before you accept them as a client, because you don't want the reputation of giving no value. Now, you know you have value, you know you're amazing. Just match that up with the person that you're about to work with. I had a friend of mine who spent $25,000 with a coach, and I was like, really? You're not going to be able to do anything he's going to tell you to do. Sure enough, the only thing he got out of it was a title for his book. So it was a $25,000 title for his book because he didn't match himself with the client, with the coach, and the coach didn't ask enough questions. He just took the money. And he has the reputation now for doing that. So do be careful about that. Now, when you're looking at sitting down and talking to people over the phone, over Zoom, in person is always best, but Zoom is second. Over the phone is like very last. Because people want to see eyeballs now. So when I do, meetings, I really try to connect with people if it's someone that I feel like is needing face-to-face, right? If I really think that they're going to be a coaching client, that's something I need to see face-to-face. And as you get better at it, you can also weed people out even through voice. But people connect, especially with women. We connect with our eyeballs. So do that as much as you can. Now, when you're talking to somebody, even when you're trying to sell them, especially when you're trying to sell, remember, you talk 10%, they talk 90%. And remember, we talked a little bit earlier about making them feel like a princess? This is really where it comes in. Letting them talk. Let them tell you their life story. Let them tell you why they're in business. Let them tell you all their secrets of their heart. People want to be heard. And if you're the person listening, they will love you. So it gives you an opportunity to, move them through that process faster, get them into your building, right? And then figure out where they need to be. Now, we talked just briefly before we have to round up for today about actually changing the way you do business so that you have a consistent income stream. This is the hardest thing for coaches, really for any business owner, because you one-off sell. So, hi, Susie. Oh, you want my, the dinner package. Yay. Bye, Susie. You might get her into one of the others because we talk about the funnel, right? Get them in the space and get them up to the VIP, which is great. It's still one-off selling, though. So what you need to create is a reoccurring monthly income. So this could be group coaching, it could be webinar based, it could be really pretty much anything. I love this. It's incredibly important to have the consistent money coming in every month, a base for yourself. So like I mentioned earlier, my husband, went blind, and then 2 months later, our house was completely destroyed. I didn't have to worry too much about income because I knew a certain base was already going to be there. That's what you need for yourself, is to create a base so that everything is kind of covered. So you have to figure out how much, and most people have never really sat down and figured out their budget. I know, crazy. And we're not just talking about a budget for your home and your family and yourself, right? And you've got to put in business costs. So you have a coaching business. it's a business. You need to have a marketing budget. You need to have, you know, all of the VA to help you run everything, a virtual assistant, right? Oh, got something tickling my eye. You've got to have money for certain projects that you need, including website development. You know, my husband and I have been doing website development for a gazillion years. So we get about 10,000 hits on my website a month. We get about 100,000 clicks on the Public Speakers Association, because we draw people to us. So it fills up my calendar. That's another whole thing for another time. I'll do that for Christy some other time. But you want to drive people to you, so you need to have a budget for that. Right? I have about a budget of $10,000 a month just for my business. And I know a lot of y'all are going, oh my gosh, just for business, you know. But the bigger your business is, the more it takes to run it. So you start off with an itty bitty budget, right? And then you like, okay, I'm going to go to this networking thing. It's $25, right? And you put that into your business budget, okay? So you have to have budgets as you go along, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're like, oh, I'm ready to do this, and I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to hire a coach. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to go to this conference. So the last thing I want to leave you with before we round up today is speaking, okay? So you saw me as an introvert, right? So this was Tonya, afraid to speak, right? Oh my gosh, the first speaking opportunity I had, it was in front of 5 lovely ladies who all loved me. And I was shaking and sweating, and I couldn't remember anything. So anybody can learn to be a speaker. As a coach, it is the best marketing you can do for your business. It does not mean that you're speaking in front of 1,000 people. That's pretty rare nowadays. Most speaking is in front of 30 people or less. Most speaking is done on platforms like this. Most speaking is done in small groups. I know a lot of you are going, ooh, okay, I could do that. You've got to get yourself out there. You've got to connect with other people who can get you out there, right? So say you connect with me, and I put you in front of my social media realm, right? So Christy comes on to my TV show. That's 60,000 people that see Christy over and over and over again. That builds up recognition, so that when she has an opportunity to get them into her building, into her business, they're like, oh yeah, I love Christy. I've seen her before. So marketing is about getting yourself out there and being yourself. So remember, at the very beginning of this whole presentation, we talked about being yourself. Don't try to be the perfect you, or try to be like someone else, or trying to be whatever. Be yourself. Shake it off that you have got to be anything but who you already are. Because you are going to drive the right people to you, the person who can't wait for you to help them, because they know in their heart and their soul that you're ready to make a difference in their life. I've got a kind of our motto for the Public Speakers Association is change the world from the front of the room. I truly believe that every person has the ability to go out and make a positive difference in somebody's life. Are you? I hope you are. Because this is what it's all about. We talk too much nowadays about the negativity that's going on, because there's crap. But if you are shining light in somebody's life, even for an instant, if you made someone feel like a princess that day, it starts a ripple effect that I believe doesn't stop. If we could just keep lighting those lights and making a difference. Now, in order to get out there and speak, I would love to help you with that. So I would love to have you part of the Public Speakers Association. I will give you half off of membership. Okay, so the coupon code is Christy, half off. It's pretty easy to remember. Christy, half off. So you go to Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out, .com, and you get all the information there. We've got lots of way of marketing you. Everything is about getting you in front of my list over and over again. So 60,000 people seeing you over and over again, lead generating to you to find new clients over and over and over again, and getting out there and speaking more. We are looking for speakers for my 2019 conference for the Public Speakers Association. And this year is going to be in London, England. So if you're like, man, I would love to start finding European connections, European clients, because I know personally myself, my friends that are $1 million speakers and coaches, that's where their clientele comes from, is Europe. So if you want to find out more about that, contact me. I would love to help you. And so yeah, let's have fun. Go to the website. There's a pop-up calendar that pops up at the bottom, and you can pick out a time and a day that works for you. So that way we could chat and see if I'm a filter in or a filter out for you. Thanks, Christy, for having me on today as your first official webinar person.
Yay! Thank you so much, Tonya. I appreciate you. That was such an awesome training, and I just look forward to continue building this association with all of you brilliant women. So as we dive in, I want to go ahead and see if anybody has a question for Tonya at this time. I'm going to open up the...
Stop the recording real quick so that way they can say something.
Okay.